Alright everyone, welcome out to this stream. I'm Christopher Disciple Allen, and it is January 24th, where we have an awesome high elo game. Up in the top lane, it will be Dyrus playing that corporate Mundo. In the mid lane, California Trolls has that middly there. The jungle will be Udyr, played by Synthis X, and in the bottom lane, finally, Sijfuan on Lulu, and beautiful Korean playing Lucian. Over on the red team, in the top lane, Alarim will be on Jade Wukong up against Dyrus. In the mid, Bobkin XD's Twisted Fate will face off against California Trolls. The jungle for the red team will be that delicious milk GG, who had just received a leash from Choco Pants on Annie, and #1 Mercury playing Sivir. Now this bottom lane matchup has a lot of early burst damage for the red team here if Annie can land that stun, and #1 Mercury can follow it up with the Boomerang Blade. Didn't get both procs there, but still got a pretty good chunk of damage. And, oh wow, Choco Pants has to be careful about the damage he takes in return though, since Lucian has such a strong early game with that Piercing Light, as well as the Ardent Blaze to help him catch up a bit. Both of these AD carries are incredibly mobile. #1 Mercury will have a little bit more of a team fight presence, whereas Lucian is more strictly for damage and kind of his siege potential. Oh wow, beautiful Korean really working over #1 Mercury and Choco Pants. #1 Mercury taking the Glitterants, falling low, has to back off of this one, especially because of Sichuan's Ignite. And that will be the right call there, as he does recall Alarim, pushing in Dyrus just a bit, who is playing Mundo, so he shouldn't have too many problems up against Wukong at any point. But he'll have a hard time stopping this Wukong from farming, which could be a problem once they get into some mid-game team fights, where Dyrus hasn't hit his, his final stride as Mundo, but Wukong gets into a really strong point, having his Cyclone to knock up everyone in the enemy team. Synthis X runs over a ward here for the gank, tries to get in there with the bear stance, but eventually falls back. Now standing on a ward, it will allow Delicious Milk GG to come and try to catch him out. Early on, Vi isn't necessarily the best duelist, but she can be great in a counter gank. Synthis X moving in towards the mid on the Bobkin XD is going to be caught out there, but there's the counter gank from Delicious Milk GG to go on to Synthis X, do a lot of damage. The red buff is ticking down. He flashes in for the Ignite, pulls out the first blood for Bobkin XD here. Twisted Fate with a good amount of gold early on will get off to a really solid start. Back to our bottom lane, Choco Pants taking some solid damage. Beautiful Korean. I don't think he's been touched once in this lane. He just comes out with the consistent Piercing Lights, clearing out those waves, and getting up to a good spot. I have not yet adjusted our scoreboard, but let me do that for you right now. And there we are. And so you can already see that beautiful Korean is a good amount ahead in farm, and hasn't recalled yet. He's just going to go ahead and stay right here to see what he can't do to keep #1 Mercury down. A Sivir that gets behind kind of just feels like she throws, flimsy pieces of paper at the enemy. Doesn't have really too many buffs on her, except for a nice amount of damage on the W, but not really as much as you'll see coming up from beautiful Korean, especially in team fights with the culling in the late game. Can actually do a good amount of damage. The combo on red team has a really good mix of pick potential as well as teamfight AoE. They have the combination of Annie and Wukong for the AoE stun and knockup, but then they also have Twisted Fate and Vi for the single target damage. That's all brought together by Sivir, who can really just speed everyone up and just come out with a lot of damage with the Boomerang Blades as well as that Ricochet. However, the blue team is a lot more single target focused. They have Udyr, who will run in and stun a single target, Dyrus, who can try to get that cleaver onto a single target as well, and California Trolls, who's just looking for the javelins there. Won't be doing quite as much until the late game, but right now he's doing a good job building up to there with a nice 35 farm, falling a little bit behind Bobkin XD, especially due to that early gank from Vi. Bob can XC now starting to roam top, going up near Dyrus. There is the teleport in. He gets the stun. Alarum isn't level 6 yet, and that gank came a little bit early, but he did force the flash out of Dyrus. A good pickup there in the top lane. Trading that ult for a flash is not preferable, but it's certainly not the worst thing that could have happened. Still, Smoke GG does come in mid lane and go in with the assault and battery, but Synthesex is here for the counter gank, and that is Vi having to flash away. Bobkin XD has run down here, goes into California Trolls and bursts him down immediately. That Vault Breaker with a huge amount of damage. Let's Smoke GG now in a rough spot, trying to run away. The damage over time from the Tiger Stance is not enough. Bobkin XD lands that gold card and does claim out the kill there. Really nice pickup here by the red team with 3 kills early on. 1,700 gold in the advantage here, and even with the top lane going pretty evenly, these consistent ganks from Vi have really helped Bobkin XD get ahead. That's where the 3 kills have been, and it's resulted in an early boost to mobility actually from Bobkin to be able to run up and catch that first stun. Once he gets that, he could consistently land the wild cards and then any follow-up stuns that he needs. But look at that damage on California Trolls already. He has a 2-level advantage, and he doesn't care about the javelin. He's actually going to look to take the turret here. Dyrus moving in from behind, though, could cause him some problems. He jukes out from the first cleaver, throws the stun card. He's going to juke out a second cleaver. California Trolls lands the javelin, but it's just not doing that much damage at this point, and he's going to be able to tip his hat and recall right here in the lane. Down in the bottom, they did see Beautiful Korean finally recall. Number 1 Mercury getting a good amount of damage on that turret. Hasn't been able to catch up in farm quite yet. The Ricochet hits Beautiful Korean, and Sivir actually takes a couple of turret shots, which isn't quite what he was looking for, but he's now at a 20 CS disadvantage in this bottom lane with just a couple Dorans. He actually runs in on the Beautiful Korean, but he gets caught up by Sichuan. That was a bit of a misplacement. Beautiful Korean flashes in, trying to get the Ardent Blaze there, but doesn't have the culling. Sichuan flashes in for the E, doesn't land the Glitter Lance, and number 1 Mercury will escape from this one alive. The Glitter Lance was off to the side, but you have to point it in the direction they're running to be able to catch them. And Sivir will escape from this one. No deaths yet, but still 20 CS behind. That's more than 3 waves. And Beautiful Korean puts himself in a really good spot for the mid game. Bobkin XD finally pressures down that turret and is looking to come up to the top lane with his second ultimate. Delicious GG might follow him up as well. He teleports into the top lane. They go into Dyrus, immediately bursting him down. Bobkin XD finding the kill there with his Ignite. And with that killing spree, red team comes out to a huge advantage here. 3,300 gold up. They're looking to really just take this early game and transfer it into what's looking to be a strong late game as well. California Trolls, however, comes in here to block off Bobkin XD's retreat. He flashes over the wall. California Trolls, can you catch up? Alarum turns on the Synthesis X and is able to claim his life. California Trolls can't find anything after that flash. His own flash was still down, and Bobkin will recall here safely. This series of risky plays is playing out for them, and they are really just dominating. Even though number 1 Mercury is so far behind, I really think their team is going to be able to carry them. They're now picking out for the Dragon, and this will definitely help give some global gold to bring number 1 Mercury back into the game, even if he's chased off here a bit. Right now, Choco Pants and Delicious Milk GG are taking this down themselves without any help from their AD carry. Still grab it really quickly. Or even with the vision here from the blue team, they just didn't find the chance to go down and contest that. I'm surprised that Lucian didn't at least throw a culling over there. But that will be the Dragon here. Now almost 5,000 gold for the red team just at 10 minutes. It's going to be almost insurmountable. The stun comes out from Choco Pants to block Beautiful Korean from going in too much farther. The culling just for the wave clear, as he does manage to take out that siege minion as well. Bobkin XD could be looking to come down to the bottom lane. He pulls out the gold card but doesn't find a target to throw it at. Comes right back mid. He has taken that Sheen as well as a Blasting Wand, which will build into a Lich Bane early on. Gives him a lot of pushing power as well as a solid amount of burst on his auto attacks with the pick a card. His wild card won't have as much damage as if he would have gone for a Urbaden's Death Cap, but this will give him so much damage on turrets that At this point is what they need. Oh, the Summon Timbers comes out. Number 1 Mercury doesn't quite follow him up. That's the communication issues that you can see in solo queue, where Choco Pants wanted to go full in, where number 1 Mercury was content just farming, and that really cost them a big cooldown, and they're both going to have to recall off of this one, with Beautiful Korean coming back down there. Now Synthis X coming here trying to look for an angle on the Alarin, but Bobkin XD will see him, spots him out with a ward. They're both in full vision of the enemy team. Dyrus moves down here, trying to keep Bobkin XD off. Delicious Milk GG. Vault Breaker's in, and this is actually just going to be the turret take for the red team, it looks like, uncontested, as they whittle down the second one, and that's what you need to close out this game. When you just go for the high turret damage, you roam around the map and pressure every lane. That's why you'll see this gold advantage continually increasing for red team, as the Lichbane is now picked up by Bobkin XD. He's participated in every kill on the map, and with that Lichbane, he'll just be able to close out this game a lot better than if he just went for more damage for more kills. I really like that choice there. Now he's ulting bottom to go into Beautiful Korean, who won't be long for this world. Bobkin XD sends him back to base in a casket. Now moves on to Sigform, who caught himself in a pretty rough spot. The gold card comes up from Bobkin. He wards the bush and grabs the second kill with his wild card. A double kill for Bobkin puts him up 5-0 and 2 in this game, and he is on fire. He is continually roaming around, participating in kills in the top, mid, and bottom. Look at that damage on the California Trolls. Forced to back off of that one. Has to be careful. Bobkin XD doesn't catch him with another gold card. Those boots of mobility going to be able to put him in some pretty good spots for assassinations. Even though he doesn't have the maximum amount of AP that he could have gone for, like I said, it's just about being able to roam around the map, take down turrets, and find kills when he has the support of his team. That gank on the bottom enabled them to take out this third turret. And right now, they're 7,000 gold ahead. This is proving to be almost a bit of a stomp here. Even though the kill scores aren't high, it's just about 1 every 2 minutes, which is a lot less than what we've seen in the past. They are taking turrets rather quickly. 3 down before 13 minutes, yeah. And I expect to see Bobkin XD continuing to run around here. He can't get too content with farming or for going for kills. He has to just keep up this turret pressure he's had. But look, right there, he sees the California Trolls is backed off a little bit and can't contest him too hard. And so he's just going to go in, get a little bit of attacks, and fall off safely. He is about to hit that 100 CS mark as well as Wukong in the top. If you look at Vi as well, 95 CS on Vi to 53 on Udyr. She is just enormously ahead in terms of gold. When you take a look at that, over 2,000 ahead just on the jungler. Now Alarin jumping over the wall, going to give that blue buff. No, actually take it for himself. I think Bobkin XD might have wanted a taste of that, but he'll have to wait until next time. Look at that, 1,600 gold, and Bobkin can already buy the Needless Large Rod. He's not going to spot California Trolls over this wall. The Javelin will connect on the Wukong, and Bobkin XD not going to get too greedy there. There's the Needlessly Large Rod, and he will be building up to this potentially Rabadan's Death Cap for the damage, or a Zhonya's Hourglass if he chooses to go in for that initiation. When Twisted Fate ults into the enemy team, gets a stun card off on a priority target, and then Zhonya's for his team to come in, that can really open up for a Delicious Milk GG ultimate with the Assault and Battery coming in to back up Twisted Fate. There's the Vault Breaker in from Vi, but she's not going to find anyone to lock onto. However, the blue team is having to group mid to defend their turret as the red team closes in on them, and they don't have the members here. They're going to take down this inner turret without any contest. Delicious Milk GG just forcing them back. Taking a bit of damage from the Javelin, actually is going to have to retreat off of this just a bit. But these consistent turret takings are really just what they need. Now almost 8,000 gold ahead. Blue team just can't defend this, but they need to. They really need Dyrus to get into a good spot. He almost has his level 2 ultimate. At level 11, he'll be able to rank that up, and he'll finally get some good regeneration out of the sadism. With the Sunfire Cape, he's going to be strong in a fight, but he just can't quite contribute what... Oh, there's a flash in on the California Trolls, who throws the barrier. Bobkin XD flashes over for the stun, but could be caught in a bad spot. Synthesex tries to get over there with the speed. Bobkin XD decides to juke back the other way. There was another stun card and will escape here with his Boots of Mobility. 6-0 and 2. Bobkin XD is just on a rampage. Although technically I believe he is dominating. Look at that damage on a beautiful Korean with a single wild card and stun. However, he might have bit off more than he could chew. No, Choco Pants flashes in for the summon Tibbers, and huge damage comes out on the beautiful Korean. Dyrus tries to chase onto this Annie here, who will finally die. The first kill here for the blue team. Dyrus retreating off the end here, will have to fall back. The double kill went on to Lulu, and Synthesex could be the third in this streak. The auto attack from number 1 Mercury claims that one. Still a 100% kill participation from this Twisted Fate. Even though he's fallen out of favor, you can see the impact he can have across the map with his ultimate and his wide array of abilities. Those Boots of Mobility paying off enormously. A Rabadon's Deathcat coming out there for the really high damage on his main abilities, especially those wild cards. Going to be able to burst down almost anyone now. If you look at California Trolls, he has a minor amount of magic resist from an Athenian's at Holy Grail, but he's not going to be able to survive much of an onslaught from Bobkin's attacks. He's also been able to enabled Sivir to catch up in her items just a bit, grabbing some farm while he's pressured beautiful Korean off. So Sivir has been able to close that gap just a bit. Now is less than 20 behind, which at this point doesn't matter quite as much. And Sivir finally picks up the Bloodthirster. Will go for some pretty high ability damage. Would have liked that item a bit earlier, but still won't mind having that for the huge boomerang blades, as well as some nice ricochets across the enemy team. But with Bobkin here to carry them, I'm not sure they're going to be too worried. Bobkin and Choco Pants just waiting here. If they catch a stun on anyone, it'll most certainly be a kill, unless Choco Pants gets worn down a little bit too hard from javelins. That combo, though, that we saw in the bottom lane with the essentially a 2 versus 3 for a good amount of time there. The flash Tibbers. Oh, there is a Talisman Ascension in. Choco Pants looking for the stun. There's the summon Tibbers. Bobkin XD comes in with the pick a card. And that's exactly the strength that these two have. The Talisman Ascension was a solid pickup. Instead of opting for more AP, he just realized he needed to initiate. The same idea was behind Bobkin XD's Boots of Mobility, and that will be yet another killer for the red team. Now 12,000 gold up, really looking to come out huge on Twisted Fate. If they had any trouble initiating, which I'm sure they didn't, they also have Delicious Milk GG's Assault and Battery, which hasn't been used too much lately. He's still 1-0 and 3. He's just been farming it up. 129 farm on that jungler, going to be more than his own 80 carry. Dyrus now leading the charge in there, lands a cleaver. This could be a rough spot for the red team. Bobkin XD forced to throw the red card, actually does teleport away a bit. Delicious Milk GG runs into an enemy team, falls. Everyone on this team is low. Number 1 Mercury tries to lead the charge in, but has to flash away. Javelin finds Bobkin XD, who is finally shut down. Choco Pants goes down for the double kill, and the double kill comes out for Nidalee as well. 4 kills here for the blue team, but they will give up an inhibitor in the top lane if Alarim can wear it down in time. That crushing blow, able to make huge dents on this inhib. But he's going to have to back out as the rest of the blue team recalls. And that will be an exposed inhibitor here. Still 12,000 up for the red team. They did give up quite a bit there. This could be the turret going down as well in the middle lane. No, Synthesex doesn't quite have the damage on there. Alarim now turning back around on the California Trolls with the Ignite and the Cyclone. Is able to claim the kill there. Beautiful Korean and Synthesex collapsing in onto Alarim, and that will be another kill. Now 6-13. They really do even up a lot of that kill score, but they're still behind 7 turrets, which might be too difficult for them to come back from. Let's see if they can make up for this. They do have Dyrus, who will build into a nice tanky late game. He's going for that Spirit Visage after the Sunfire Cape. Udyr not able to find much more than his jungle item yet with his Spirit of the Ancient Golem. Whereas Delicious Milk GG is opting for a much more offensive build, the Spirit of the Elder Lizard into a Trinity Force. That Giant Spell does well, most likely going to go into a Randwood's Omen once he finds the gold. Bobkin just going for an incredibly offensive build. The Rabadan's Deathcap Lichbane and Lysar's Rod with that amplifying tome. It honestly could be either a Zhonya's or Deathfire Grasp. He might not need any more damage. The Deathfire Grasp would certainly help him one-shot anyone, but he might want to go for that Zhonya's so that the last team fight doesn't happen to him, so he doesn't get caught out by too much damage. We'll see in a minute what he is opting for. Number 1 Mercury going to go for a static Shiv with that extra Brawler's Glove, and that'll give them a nice amount of wave clear here to be able to continue pushing up. They've taken every outer and inner turret, as well as the inhibitor turret here in the top lane. Here they are moving in the top lane. Bobkin XD actually falling here to beautiful Korean, but the rest of the red team is in there. There's the Summon Timbers on the Sichuan and the Assault and Battery. They take out that support. Dyrus teleports in to join the fight, but he's about half health. Synthesex not sure whether or not he should go in. Chocopan's having to flash away from the Udyr there. They decide to chase on here. The Flash Javelin misses, and California Trolls blows a large summoner there. Those Smoke GG steals away this wolf and retreats. Alarim pops his clone, trying to escape off the back here, but California Trolls and Synthesex could be going in there, but look at the burst coming out from that Cyclone and the Crushing Blow. He flashes after Nidalee there, grabs the kill, but Lucian is there with the culling, comes across with a nice amount of damage. The double kill comes out from Alarim, but he does fall to Dyrus's Burning Agony, and beautiful Korean flashing in for the Piercing Light finds a third kill of that spree. Red team has to be careful about their aggression. They're still in a nice gold advantage, but as the game progresses, the gold will matter less and less. The Zhonya's Hourglass finally comes out from Bobkin XC. Might be able to survive a bit better to wait on his cooldowns and allow his team to catch up, but he can't split push that unsafely. If he is collapsed on 2, then like we saw, Dyrus will be able to just teleport back into the team. Dyrus is becoming rather tanky, and he can't be burst down by the likes of Bobkin here. Beautiful Korean as well is hitting a nice strong spot, not quite having that Trinity Force, but still comes out with a good amount of damage with the Bloodthirster. And we've seen it coming across this enemy team. He is finally equal on farm. Bobkin XC looking to move on the California Trolls, can't quite find the vision in that bush, and will force the Nidalee out of the grass there. Blue team pinging up onto the Baron, as the red team goes for the dragon here. Dyrus and Nidalee are both in this bottom lane. They have to be actually very aggressive here, going in on the Bobkin XC. California Trolls popping the barrier. The flash comes in, but California Trolls finds the kill with a javelin. Bobkin XC, unfortunately giving up his life, doesn't find the chance to use his Zhonya's Hourglass. I guess he wasn't quite sure whether or not that javelin would hit him, or thought that whether or not it hit him, he was dead anyway. This does put red team in a bit of a rough spot, but they do have the inhibitor down in the top lane, which keeps up the constant pressure on the enemy base. And it's going to actually put them in an opportunity to go for Baron here. Or are they simply clear? No, they're just going to clear out the pit. Delicious Smoke GG is going to dance for us just a little bit as they wait for Bobkin to come back up. Now that he's up, they might look to go for this. He could ult in there. Chocopan's taking massive damage from a javelin. Nidalee is getting big here. Almost has her that Athene's, and that's going to be some enormous damage coming out from that javelin throw. Beautiful Korean and Dyrus just doing what they can to mount a bit of a siege on that Baron pit. Bobkin XD has run all the way down here. And with the auto attack started, this will be a Baron attempt from the red team with the minions pushing in onto the enemy base. They really have to be careful about where they spend their time. Bobkin takes a nice amount of damage from the javelin, but there's the initiation from Dill's Smoke GG going in onto beautiful Korean with his assault battery, but he falls immediately after. The culling comes all the way across. Bobkin XD actually could be running into the enemy base. There is the ult in. He's going to go for this first Nexus turret. There are the auto attacks in on. Number 1 Mercury does take out Synthis X, and the red team is winning this fight. This could be the game. Beautiful Korean tries to come in to stop Bobkin. The stun going to come across onto him with a good amount of damage, but not quite enough. The ignite is on him. He Zhonya's the last bit of damage. Sichuan now looking what he can't do on the Bobkin with the ignite and the auto attack that could be enough to finish him off. It is, but Chocobans comes in for the kill, and the red team is looking to close onto this base. Choco Pants just dueling at California Trolls, going to put himself in a rough spot. Just easy pickings for this Nid, lands the Javelin. And number 1 Mercury, actually I guess the only other member alive after that fight. I didn't see Alarum go down as I was focused on the excitement in the enemy base. 1 Nexus turret down. And a couple of nice kills there from the red team. Having trouble closing out this game, but with a 14,000 gold advantage, I'm not sure that'll be their issue for much longer. They have a chance to go for this Baron again, and if they have a little bit more coordinated of a fight, where Delicious Milk GG doesn't die right off the bat, it could be a nice position for them. He is finally building up, actually not too much health yet, still sitting on that Giant's belt. Has a Brutalizer, and with the Ruby Crystal could be looking for a Black Cleaver here to help out with the damage that Alarum will be throwing out as well, who has his own Brutalizer. A couple of Black Cleavers here could really solidify this red team damage. California Trolls picking up that blue buff to be able to throw out a lot of Javelins here, sieging up on the enemy team, has really helped keep them in the game. But I don't know if they'll be able to compete with this red team that's looking like it's going to run out of control. A Last Whisper picked up for some huge damage on the top lane, and Sivir is looking to build up one as well, unless she could be opting for an Infinity Edge. It's really up to her. With the armor coming out on blue, I would expect to see a Last Whisper, especially on Dyrus if they ever want to wear him down. Choco Pans on Annie will be looking for that Deathfire Grasp. And that'll really give them a huge amount of damage if he can go in with the Summon Tibbers and throw in a Deathfire Grasp onto anyone there, but primarily onto California Trolls or Beautiful Korean. Those will be their priority targets. Oh, Choco Pans looking to go in for the Summon Tibbers on the California Trolls. The ult is coming around from Bobkin XD. He at least provides some vision on them, but they can't quite follow it up. Where is he ulting? He's going over to take out this inhibitor. Synthesis X flashes in for the stun on the Bobkin. Beautiful Korean is there, but look at the damage from Delicious Milk GG. Bobkin XD did fall to the damage there. Delicious Milk GG comes in with the Assault and Battery, and with the excessive force, takes out Beautiful Korean. However, that's 2 members down for the red team. Choco Pants tries to flash over the wall, but fails it, and the double kill for California Trolls comes out. Now blue team, with 3 members down, might look to go for this Baron to come back into the game. I wouldn't be too surprised. However, I also could expect Alarum to maybe go in for the seal with that Cyclone. This will be the Baron started up here by the blue team. Synthesis X and Dyrus pegging away on that, and with it dropping pretty quickly, it's just up to Alarum on what he decides to do. There's the stealth in. He's going to see it, go in with the Cyclone, do a lot of damage to California Trolls, but not quite take him up. He flashes after it. The Baron helps him finish him off with the crushing blow, and he's going to stop this Baron. Dyrus can't quite stay on there. Synthesis X take a lot of damage. Dyrus taking so much, throws the Sadism, and with that regen, might actually be able to stay in on here. But there is Sivir coming into the fight here, trying to wear down Synthesis X and Dyrus, who gets knocked up, but they don't take too much damage from that at all. The Last Whisper wasn't quite enough to help him out. Bobkin XD now not finding too much damage. And we'll actually have to back off of this one. He will find Beautiful Korean, who throws out the culling to stop Bobkin XD's advances. Red team is playing a little bit sloppy here. They've let their gold advantage slip. It's now only 10,000, which feels like a big number, but with the map pressure exerted by blue team here, I'm not sure it'll really play out too well for them. Udyr with only a Giant's Belt, an Aegis of the Legion, and a Spirit of the Ancient Golem, feels like he's doing a lot more in these team fights than what Delicious Milk GG is able to do with a much more expensive build. The Trinity Force, Black Cleaver, Elder Lizard, and almost a Randuin's Omen, not keeping him from dying too quickly, and even if he's able to find a kill, so much of the red team gold has gone into him that they can't afford to lose him that easily. With that dragon, that will help to even up the gold just a bit here for the red team, and that will enable them to buy kind of their final items here. Sivir has gotten that Last Whisper, and he does have the Deathfire Grasp on top of the Talisman of Ascension that she picked up much earlier on. The Boots of Mobility coming out as well from that support to be able to line up the stun a lot of boots of mobility here on the red team, on Wukong, Twisted Fate, and Annie. But right now they're not using them at all. They're just actually playing a little bit defensively, clearing out the waves, a little bit afraid of the point that Dyrus has gotten to, picking up a Randuin's Omen. They don't really have the resources to chip through it. Sivir just doesn't quite have the burst damage to be able to take him out, and once he gets that regen, they really need the knock-up and the from Wukong's Cyclone, as well as a lot of follow-up damage to be able to take him out. But with the threat of Beautiful Korean and California Trolls, I don't know when they'll find it. Alarum has picked up an Elixir of Fortitude, so he is a little concerned about where this next fight could take them, and only time will tell exactly what point they give them, exactly what point they will get into this last fight. Chacopan's going to ward around here looking for a pick on the enemy team. And I'm not sure if he's going to find it. His team isn't anywhere close to him, and that's an indication we've seen really trouble this red team frequently through here. Annie will go in and get the big stun on the enemy team. However, there won't be anyone to follow up, and he gets a lot of damage off. Gets a nice summon Tibbers, but then nothing comes of it, and then that's down for the actual fight, which happens pretty soon after. The 12,000 gold won't mean anything if they can't follow it up with all their items. The red team is splitting up again, not going to pressure this lead they have here, going to let their elixirs wear off, and I think this is a big mistake here. Not closing out this game. This 12,000 gold lead means a lot less now than it did, 5 minutes ago. Sichuan roaming around, going to throw out some wards and try to get some vision of where the red team might come in. And with the red team finally falling back and buying, they might be looking for the last push here. Sivir didn't even spend his gold, and he's sitting on the same items that he was, 5 or 6 minutes ago, with 1,400 gold in his pocket. I don't know if that red team is making the right decisions to push through here. And if they lose this next fight, it could jeopardize a bit of their base. Still no turrets taken for the blue team, so they're not losing. But right now, they aren't making decisions that will win them the game. Number 1 Mercury taking a lot of poke damage from Dyrus and Beautiful Korean. That Ardent Blaze with a huge amount of range going to just help to keep the enemies off of them, and they aren't finding the engage here. Chocopants isn't quite confident enough to go in with that summon Tibbers. And I'm wondering if Bobkin XD is just going to stay split pushing here, or he might go in for the Reggie engage. There is a nice split push coming out in the bottom lane. However, the rest of the red team isn't applying enough pressure, so they will come and try to cut him off. There is the bear stance coming in around here just to farm up as Twisted Fate falls off the backside. No action coming out here for the last several minutes. And I really want to see the engage here. The Javelin finds those smokes GG, and that could stop this entire engage. As red team just dilly-dallies, to use an awful phrase that only my grandparents would ever think of uttering. But look, just the recalls are coming out, and this is why it's considered solo queue and not professional team play, because the coordination is not there at any point. They aren't looking to close out the game. They aren't doing what is necessary. They're allowing the blue team to farm up a lot here, actually. Dyrus has been able to come up to 261, almost the most of the game. Bobkin still has a solid amount of farm on him, but with his full build, he won't have anything else to put that into except for some elixirs. He has currently a Void Staff and a Gnasher's Tooth on top of the items he had before. Bobkin will find Dyrus with the help of Delicious Milk GG using that Assault and Battery, though. And that could be the opening they're looking for at level 18. Dyrus will be down for another 50 seconds. caught out there by our mobile assassins. In a rough spot, but California Trolls comes in for the huge damage. Sivir doesn't even use the flash barrier or spell shield. And I think he was just as surprised as I was by California Trolls' appearance in the bottom lane, as a huge amount of burst coming out from that Cougar was able to claim a kill. However, Chocopants puts himself in a rough spot. Alarm tries to go in. There's a Cyclone. Smoke GG comes in from behind. Chocopants is still alive. Steps onto a trap, though, and does fall to Nidalee. However, there's still 3 members of the red team coming in here. No, that's just 2. I was counting the clone as 1. And California Trolls taking out that kill on the Chocopants will even up the odds just a bit, but he's still against 3 members here of the red team who take out the inhibitor. Look to move up here to take out the second. Smoke GG with a nice dodge on that Javelin. Going to really make the play they need to. Dyrus comes in here, looks to find Alarim. Smoke GG comes back over the side. California Trolls pops the barrier. Directed camera decides I need to see the base. And there is a slow coming out, the stun from Bobkin XD and the full ace. This could be the game here. Beautiful Korean is up in just a bit, has his flash to get in there, but look at how fast his Nexus turret is falling. Now the Nexus going down quickly to Bobkin XD's Lichbane, and that will be the game for red team off of a nice set of picks. First on the Dyrus, and then onto the remaining members here. A double Nexus explosion to reward us for a long game, a hard-fought one by both teams, but ultimately a red team victory. Congratulations to Bobkin XD and crew for finally grouping together, finishing that out, and giving us a nice presentation up at the Challenger level.